Izzy at Today's video we're continuing our dart manipulation series where we're looking at how to move the dart around the bodice to different locations. In today's video we're going to be looking at how to create a French dart. As ever with this series, you're going to need your standard pattern drafting tools, which are listed next to me. I'll be using my bespoke bodice, but you've got your own bespoke bodice to be working on at home. So don't worry if they look a little bit different, that's perfectly normal. This video specifically looks at technical exercise and impact of rotating a dart around the front bodice. We're not looking at creating a finished garment at this stage, we're just looking at the impact that has so that you can see and assess which dart location is your preference or the impact of just moving those darts around. To start off with, trace over your own block because we're going to be cutting into it and making adaptations as required. Okay, so currently we have a dart up here, which is our bust dart, and it goes all the way to our apex, so that becomes our pivot point. And what we're wanting to do is to pivot that dart all the way around to this location to create a French dart. So the dart is going to start right at the corner of your pattern piece where the waist and the side seam meet. We're then going to draw a line from that point directly to the apex. This will form our cut line and the location of our dart at a later stage. Next, take a pair of scissors and cut out the bust dart all the way down to the apex. Next, we're just going to cut along the new line that we just drew from the corner all the way up to the apex, leaving a pivot point at the top of the apex. Remove the volume from the bust dart up at the top and then rotate the pattern piece around from at the apex point so that the top dart closes up completely. Sellotape that in place. Now, as you can see, the volume's moved from here across down to here. And if we look at the volume that we've removed from there, you can see that our dart size is the same. Beautiful, isn't it? We now need to draw in our new dart, so grab a piece of paper and pop that underneath the block. Take your ruler and find the halfway point between the ends of the dart. For everyone that will be different, but just mark that center point there. And then join that center line all the way up to the apex. We don't want our dart to go all the way to the apex because we don't want it to create a big point at that location. So we're going to offset our dart by 2 centimeters, the same as what we actually did for our waist dart. So mark a point along this new center line, which is 2 centimeters away from the apex. Draw in your new dart from the side up to your new dart point location, which is 2 centimeters from the apex. For the sake of simplicity, you may just also want to extend those lines down. Excellent, so we've actually drafted out our new French dart location. Grab some tracing paper and trace over that, adding your pattern annotations and your seam allowances. Trace straight down your center front because this will be cut on the fold. Draw around your neckline. Add your 1.5 centimeter seam allowance to your shoulder seam. Draw in your arm side. Add your 1.5 centimeter seam allowance to your side seam. Trace around your waistline and also your waist dart. And then finally draw in your new French dart. Excellent, once you've done that you can then start to annotate your pattern piece with all the standard annotations. Let's do that together. Place on fold. The grain line is going to parallel with the center front, so draw a line like that. Mark your apex location on your pattern and name your pattern piece front bodice French dart cut 1 on fold. Once you've done all of that, you can cut out your pattern piece out of your tracing paper and also out of your calico. Don't forget to transfer all the annotations as usual onto your calico pattern piece. Brilliant. Once you've done that, then do the same process with your bodice back pattern piece by adding the seam allowances to your block. Add a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance to the center back. Draw in your waist and dart exactly as it is on the block. Add a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance to your side seam and then draw in your arm side exactly as it is. Add a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance to your shoulders and draw in your dart. Draw in your neckline. Grain line follows the line of the centre back. Annotate your pattern piece to say that it is the back bodice we need to cut to, and then add your pattern name. Once you've done that, you can cut out your pattern piece. Once you've cut out your pattern pieces out of fabric, you'll have your front and your back. We then need to sew up all of the darts. So we've got 4 darts to sew on the front and another 4 on the back as well. If you're not sure how to sew up darts, please go and have a look at our video on video number 22, which is all about how to cut and sew your bodice block. So obviously in this video we're manipulating our bodice block. So the techniques that we're using to sew up this pattern are exactly the same as the ones that we used to sew up our original block when we were checking the fit. So have a little look at that. I am going to whiz up these 4 and then do the same for the back. I'm going to start pinning and sewing my darts now. So we've pinned this dart in place now, and as you can see we've got a bit of an overlap of fabric at the bottom. That's absolutely fine, because let's not forget that we have got a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance coming down here. It's approximately there. So that bit is going to join up with this bit over here when we sew it together. So, and we've not got a seam allowance down at the bottom, have we? So effectively, you're seeing your 1.5 centimetre seam allowance at that point down there. So it's joining in at exactly the right place. Wonderful. Once you've pinned all your darts in place, you can then sew them using your sewing machine. Don't forget, I'll be using contrasting thread on my sewing machine, just so you can see it clearly on the screen above. Excellent. Once you've done your darts and sewn those on the front, we're then just going to repeat that whole process for our back pattern pieces as well. So we've got one little dart at the top of each shoulder and another one down at the waist. So pin and sew those together in the standard way. Lovely. At this point you have got a little bit of excess down at the bottom, so you can just snip that off now. And the same on this side. Once you've sewn your darts and press them towards the side, we're then going to put right sides together, put the back over the front, and we're just going to pin the side and the shoulders in place together. Once you've done one, you may as well just continue and pin the other side as well. Next, we're going to sew those side seams using a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Once you've sewn those side seams, you can then just go and grab your iron and press open all of those 4 side seams. And then we are going to go and try this on. So what do you think about that? Let us know in your comments. This is a very complimentary location for the dart to go. It just has a really nice aesthetic, I think, and it's commonly known as being, yeah, just a really nice location for a dart. It's very flattering. So there you have it, our French dart location. A brilliant little exercise just to see how that impacts the shape and the aesthetics of the top as you wear it. Let us know what you think. Do you like that location? Do you prefer a different one? Don't forget, you can create a Minerva account on our website for free and upload your own photos and your own images of what you've been creating. Do tag us in those, we'd love to see those. So thank you for joining me today. I will see you next time.